Welcome to What's Up, Bolts? I'm Fernando Ramirez. That cowboy hat on and son of a gun must be Dan and Dago. And right now, I don't think you can stop his momentum or the Chargers' momentum moving forward. Chargers, obviously, coming off a big win, 31-10 over the LA Rams. They are now the 5th seed in the AFC because the Baltimore Ravens lost on Sunday Night Football to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin, as soon as Kenny Pickett threw that game-winning touchdown, Kenny Pickett walks over and Mike Tomlin goes, Kenny mother effing Pickett, and he like bumps his chest. So pretty cool to see. But obviously, Chargers take care of business. They score more than 30 points, which hadn't been done since week 5 against the let's take care of the laundry list. They hadn't scored 30 points since they had beaten the Cleveland Browns. They hadn't scored a touchdown in the third quarter since they played the Cleveland Browns.
What?
And they might have just found their offensive rhythm, Dan and Dago. So, first of all, I have to ask you, how are you doing?
Frau, I just wake up in the morning and piss excellence. I am so fired up right now, dude. You already saw yesterday. I was at Dan and Dago, your boy was at the game. Not only did I get compliments about the shirt, shout out to Homage right there, him throwing darts like he was yesterday. But I got a sweatshirt, I got a hat. So your boy Dan and Dago's riding a high right now. No Whiskey Sour Wednesday for anybody. Victory Wednesdays. I love winning. I don't get tired of it. I want it to keep going.
It's funny. It feels like the losses to the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. I know the Chargers have been getting players back since those two, but man, it's like those barbecue, it's like ribs. You after you're done eating, you still have the sensation of them. And it's like the Chargers have the sensation of they almost beat the 49ers. Which in my opinion, Gilbert's opinion, I think your opinion, they're probably the best team in the NFC. They're with the Eagles, I guess. They're probably one of the best. The Kansas City Chiefs, obviously, there's no denying. They are the best, if not the second best team in the AFC. So for the Chargers to go back-to-back and almost beat both of them with a lot of their weapons missing, right? And ever since that game, they've been feeling the momentum. They go into Arizona. They beat the Cardinals. They lose in a weird game to the Raiders, but then now they knock off 4 in a row, and they've won 4 out of their last 5. They're feeling good. Obviously, guys, right now they are the 5th seed in the AFC. I think to hold that, they would need to beat the Broncos, and or if the Ravens lose next week and the Ravens play the Browns, still no word if Lamar Jackson will play. But as of right now, I think the Chargers do hold the 5th seed. Let me just make sure that's. I don't want to have to correct myself again.
I'm gonna give a hot take. Lamar's not gonna play.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, 100% he's not.
I mean, I understand why. I mean, you
that's why.
That contract. And you know what's funny? I mean, I know Dan and Dago jokes about Lamar and everything, and I know we joke about him on the show too. Yeah, they're the 5th seed right now. But let's be honest, he deserves that contract. He is their offense.
100%
their offense.
Especially you've seen some of these guys who've gotten paid. I don't think Kyler Murray's better than Lamar. I'd take Lamar. I don't think for sure the Deshaun Watson one. That one to me was insane. I would rather take Lamar Jackson than Deshaun. That's for sure.
What?
Big. That one to me was just unbelievable. So it's like you totally understand the guy. He already has a groin issue. Like, why is he going to risk next season?
Exactly. No, and that's the thing too, is that like I don't blame him. Like you're going into next season, and then his mom is his agent. For people who don't know, when your parent is your agent, see, this is what an agent's supposed to do. Let's say I'm Dan and Dago's agent, and I go talk to Hilberto because this is Hilberto.
Go talk to his ass. Go talk to his ass, Frau. Go talk to his ass.
No, let's just say I talk to a team, and the team tells me, well, look, Dan and Dago's a one-dimensional kind of quarterback. He only throws the football. He doesn't run in the pocket. He just stands. He's like Phillip Rivers. He doesn't move around. He just stands in the pocket. His decision making sometimes is so we don't know. We're just not confident that he's worth all that money. So this is what we're thinking about offering him. So I go to Dan and I tell him, you know what? They really love you. They think that you're the perfect guy that they need moving forward. But the thing is, they wanna save some money on you so that they can get more pieces for you. You have to ease them into it. You can't tell them everything that you're thinking because it could damage the relationship between Dan and the team, or it could damage the relationship between between the owner and the player, or the GM and the player, or anything. A parent's not going to do that. A parent will tell you how it is, and they'll be like, hey, they don't think you're good enough. They think that you choke. They think that you this. They think that you that. So that's kind of the problem there when it's not an agent, because an agent will like ease you into it, and a parent might just tell you how it is. So just very interesting. But going back to the Chargers, like I said, they scored coming out of the third half. Brandon Staley said he was very excited about that he felt like the offense was on a mission coming out of halftime. But let's hear what Brandon Staley had to say about the offense and the way they were able to and if he maybe has found a balance in after this victory.
I think that performance is more indicative of the group that we have on offense. I think you saw kind of a complete performance by our group from start to finish. I felt like our guys really played together today. I thought we played as hard as we played on offense. That was a big goal of ours today, is just play harder than we've ever played. And I thought you saw that in the run game. I thought we finished drives with touchdowns. We were 3 for 3 in the red area, which we've been working really hard at. And so we were able to get the ball to the deep part of the field. We protected the passer pretty well. I thought we did a good job at the end of the half in 2 minutes. Still a lot to correct. That's a good defense that we played today. So I'm proud of the performance, because I know that they've got a lot of good players and coaches over there. And it's going to be the type of defenses we play moving forward.
So obviously, Brandon is very excited about the offense. That's the thing, Dan. What did we talk about last week? We said the Chargers need to do. They need to get into an offensive rhythm. Come out of the third quarter scoring. You need to do a lot of different things, and I feel like against the Rams, the Chargers were kind of able to build positive momentum moving forward.
Especially because it's like you said. I don't remember if you said it here on regular COMPAS. The top teams in the playoffs right now in the AFC picture, they're scoring over 25 points a game. And it's like, that's going to be a real challenge if you're barely mustering up 20 points, 17 points. I don't know what the average is for the team. But
probably about 22 to 23 points.
That's going to be very difficult to try and match, like, especially in the playoff time, because in playoff time, it's completely different. Like, you're going to have to travel to a lot of places where it's not that sunny Southern California weather and everything else. It's going to be hostile and everything else. So it's going to be interesting. You got to find your rhythm now against these teams that aren't as good. So hopefully you can take it into the playoffs and against teams that are better.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, that's what they were talking about also. And hey, kudos to the offensive line. The offensive line had they allowed no sacks for the first time in I think a while. I know Herbert had been sacked like 24 times the last 5 games, not sacked against the Rams. And I know Aaron Donald didn't play, but hey, it's still positive momentum moving forward. They did hit Herbert twice, but hey, I'm sure they'll take that over anything that's been happening as of late. So definitely kudos to the Chargers offensive line for that. And then obviously what happened because of that? The run game was able to get going. Austin Ekeler, 10 carries, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. He obviously broke that one for 72 yards. But if you take away that 72 yards, let's just say you take that away, he's at 56. He's still 10 rushes for 60 yards, which would have been an average of 10 yards per carry almost. Joshua Kelly, 9 carries for 45 yards. He was averaging 5 yards a carry. So that's positive moving forward that they're able, if they can run the football like that. Can they? Who knows? I'm not too sure, just because of the fact that they haven't been able to run it very consistent or very well. But in other times, you guys have to remember too, some of these dump offs that that Justin does to Austin, where he throws it to him for 2 yards and he ends up turning it for 10. That's kind of like a run as well. So Austin had 4 catches for 39 yards. So just add that to the total a little bit more. And Austin obviously had a very good day. And but Dan, what did you think about the running game? Are you kind of hopeful that maybe moving forward that'll be the norm?
100%, because it's like we talked about after the game, for now. It's like, yes, it's a good victory because you did what needed. You essentially took care of business. This is what you needed to do. But it's like you have to understand also the level of the team's not the same. And, obviously respect to the Rams, they still have some good players and all that stuff, but it's not the same. And it's like in the running game, you have to find plays that work for you consistently, right? It's like sometimes you just see these you see when I always sometimes have a problem when they try and load up and then they try and run it with Austin, because I always feel like they either get overpowered or Austin just can't fight through to get that yard. And it's like that's the biggest thing you have to find. What type of running plays does Austin like? what type of running plays do your offensive line block the best? Because, a lot of things come into factor when it comes to those things. So, hopefully they can keep this going because this is going to be crucial come playoff time because, like you already know, Dan and Dago's talked about it plenty of times. There's essentially only one negative thing that can happen in the run game versus the multiple negative things that can happen in the pass game. So you're going to need it to kill because we always talk about it. You have to control the clock against these Pat Mahomes, Josh Allens, and all these other guys. You have to control the clock and be physical and keep them on the sideline. How do you do that? By having a good mix of run and pass and being physical up front and making sure you keep them on the sideline 10, 15 minutes at a time or whatever.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with that, especially because, like you said, you're going to face some of these top tier quarterbacks. You're going to need to keep them on the sideline. How do you do that? Running the football and running it consistently and running it well. So if the offensive line can continue improving the way they did this game, maybe that'll help them moving forward. Here's Austin Ekeler on them being able to run the football and all that.
It was a great day for us, on the ground, as you said, shout out to the O-line making it happen. But, the stats and everything, like the catches and stuff, it really is something I think you look back at the end of the season. It's pretty special to be able to be out here and have an opportunity to come and play and make an impact for this team. But there's still more to go. We still got one more game, so looking to continue to add on to them.
So what Austin was talking about there is that he did pass LT for the most receptions in for a season for a running back in the team's history. LT had 100 receptions one season, and I think Austin beat him. I think he's at 102 now. So that was another thing that Austin was talking about. But I mean, kudos to him. Austin obviously
had a great game.
He came out of nowhere.
Killed me.
Yeah, and he came out of nowhere, and he really has been a good back for the Chargers. Now is he an every down back? I don't know. I still would, and I think Dan's the same way. You'd rather put a big back in there to kind of be a bruiser and then bring in Austin and kind of mix and match, which I mean, I think Austin's been all for the last few years. So that'll be interesting. But Dan, we would be negligent if we didn't mention the one thing that obviously was a pretty big highlight yesterday. And it seems like this guy, they call him Mr. 80-20 for a reason. Yeah. The Chargers call him 80-20 for a reason. He really, I mean, the dude just is a machine. Like some of the things that he can do, I just don't see anybody else doing. And that's what makes him so special. And that's why when he was gone for those few games, I said they need Mike Williams back. Like Mike Williams is the number one. He's too good. He's too aggressive. They're going to miss him, especially against a team like San Francisco, where if I think he plays, I think that game would have come out differently. But look at just real quick, just look at this play by Mike Williams. It is insane. So he goes and then bang.
Well, it's like what we always talk about, Frown. Big time players make big time plays. That's just what it's all about. That guy has been so clutch the past few years that it's just ridiculous now. Like he's almost automatic. Look at that. I wonder if he's doing ballet in the offseason like Lynn Swan used to. That's what I remember watching Football Life or something like that. And he said that was the greatest thing he ever did for his career because it helped him understand control and everything else.
Exactly. Now let's hear. And you know what the funniest part is about Mike? He is so humble. Like watch him talk about the catch after the game and what he thought about it. This is honestly, to me, this is hilarious.
I don't know. Just make a play. That's the main thing. Just react to the ball. I was just able to get to get the right hand to the ball and able to come down and get 2 feet in.
Did you see a replay on the video board, or have you seen it? I did. When you watch yourself back, what did you see?
I don't know. It was crazy. I don't know. I think it was more of the reaction that me and the head coach had after the catch. That was kind of amazing.
What did he say?
Absolute baller.
So basically, he did. So he said that him and Brandon looked at each other. At first I thought, oh, him and Sean McVay, but no, he was talking about Brandon. And Brandon was asked what did he say to you, or what happened? And I think Brandon said, let me find it right now.
And that's just the other thing, Brown, is like when you have Mike and Keenan on the field, that just is an ultimate dynamic that cannot be replaced. And that's why they struggled so much when they weren't on there, because you didn't have that vertical threat like you had with Mike. And a lot of the times, whether people want to admit it or not, Keenan is that security blanket on third down. And I think they just their skill sets are so different that it's like when you have them both on the field at the same time, it's lethal. I'm not going to say unfair, because you see some of these other teams and they have Jamar Chase and Higgins and all these other guys.
Yeah, and I feel like yesterday, and I mean, throw some love to Lombardi's way. I feel like he used Mike differently yesterday. Mike was doing more stuff in the middle of the field. He wasn't going just down the field. He was doing a lot of different things, making catches.
A screen, for God's sake.
Huh?
He caught a screen, for God's sake.
Exactly.
Yesterday.
So he did a lot of things yesterday, Mike, that I thought he hadn't done in a while. So kudos to that. This is what Brandon Staley said. He said he looked at. It was a wink, and I quote, "It was a wink of total respect. As a pro coach, you can get to witness a lot. You see a lot of special, but then there's some things that are just more special than the rest, and that was certainly one of them." So Brandon was obviously impressed by the catch that he made. And then Justin Herbert says, and I quote, "I don't know how anyone else does anything like that. He is as special as it gets. I wasn't able to watch the replay on the video board, so when we got up to the line of scrimmage just to get a playoff to make sure that maybe he was in bounds, maybe he wasn't. I'm definitely gonna have to watch that one again." So Justin was excited about Mike Williams and that grab. So definitely these guys are feeding off of each other. The offense is playing well. Here, but by the way, here's Justin Herbert on the momentum, and if he feels momentum moving forward because of the 4 straight wins.
I think it's always important to be playing your best football at the end of the year. I think there's still plenty of room for improvement for us offensively, defensively, and special teams. But I really liked what I saw from the defense today, the special teams as well. All 3 phases, I thought there were some good things. And we'll watch the film tomorrow, but we'll keep looking to get better and heading into the next one.
I just love that. That's the right type of mentality you want to have going into the playoffs, right? Like, how easy would it be to coming off of 4 straight wins, you already clinched, you're the 5th seed, and being like, "Oh yeah, we're so good, this, that, and that," or like, you know what I'm saying, like coasting. But he's like, it's all about getting better and getting ready for the next one, because they understand the job's not done. And I think that type of culture, that's the winning mindset right there, where it's always about, you can always improve. No one's perfect, but when you chase perfection, Frau, you might be great. Boom. Dropping quotes today.
So obviously the offense is moving in the right direction. If you can find balance between all that stuff. And then the other thing is, and I mean, we talked about it last night. So yesterday was, honestly, we should have done a whole COMPAS episode off of this. It was Eric Williams, Dan and Dago, Gilbert, and myself heading up to SoFi. So it was definitely a hoot. You guys would have gotten a kick out of some of the conversations that we had. I mean, who knows? Maybe if we all go to the Super Bowl, we'll do something like that. Stick a GoPro in the car and just start talking and seeing what kind of content we can get.
Exactly. It'll be a lot better than that stupid what is it, the driver karaoke or whatever.
Oh yeah. By the way, Dan, that shirt looks very nice.
I'm telling you, you have no idea how many compliments I got off of this thing yesterday. Shout out to Homage getting your COMPAS set up. It's absolutely crazy, Frau. I thought they were, at one point, I kid you not, I thought they were going to have to shut the whole stadium down and evacuate us. You know why?
Because Herbert was on fire?
I'm saying, look at this. Look at this. He's throwing lightning. On the field, he was doing it also. I saw sparks coming off. It was insane, dude. It was wild.
So, guys, don't forget, the COMPAS have teamed up with Homage. They sent Dan and Dago a bunch of T-shirts. Dan has not stopped wearing them. Right now, he's obviously on holiday vacation. So Dan's been enjoying it by wearing all of his Homage shirts.
That's why I haven't shaved either.
Yeah, I know he has to shave too. But he's been wearing his Homage shirts all over the house, to stores, to everything. He'll get thumbs up. He'll get
a walking billboard. Homage, shout out.
Yep, he really is a walking billboard for Homage. But don't forget, we've teamed up with them. Gilbert, also, if you want your own Justin Herbert T-shirt,
Look at this
Gilbert
thing.
has it for you.
Look
You
at
guys
this
just need to
thing.
do what you need to do. We need to get up to 200 subscribers here on What's Up Bolts.
Look
And
at
then you
this.
have to comment, what's up, Bolts? What's up, Fernando? What's up, Dan? Or what's up, Gilbert? Whatever you guys want to say what's up to, just put it in the comment section. Gilbert will be picking a random winner pretty soon, but we need to get to 200 subscribers before we can give out the t-shirt. And the t-shirt's fire. I liked it. I think it was awesome. Dan and Dago liked it. So definitely we need to find somebody to give it to. We just want to, we're in a giving mood. We're trying to give it to you guys, and it seems like you guys don't want it. But definitely go do that. Make sure you comment on the video. Make sure you subscribe. As soon as we get to 200, like we said, we will be giving that t-shirt out. And here's the link below. If you guys are on listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure you go over to the YouTube down below in the description. We do have how to go to homage.com for NFL, WWE, Chargers, Rams, whatever you guys want. It's all there. Make sure you go check it out. And we have everything there for you guys. So be a compa, tell a compa, let them know about the compas teaming up with Homage. But Dan, back to the show. Obviously, the one aspect that I don't think people are talking about enough is there's a reason why Brandon Staley went out and got some of the free agents that he did. Some of the free agents include Sebastian Joseph Day. He's been, I know he was hurt for that. He got hurt in the second half of the Raiders game. He was out for the Dolphins game. They played well without him, but it's like ever since he's gotten back, they've been playing really well. He plugs up he's had a good partnership with Braden Fayoko in the middle. They've been able to stop the run. Yesterday, it was a little worrisome because they gave up a couple of big plays. I think they gave up one 40-yard carry to
Cam Akers.
And they gave up some other ones. But Brandon said he was happy with the second half, that in the second half they weren't able to run the football as efficiently as they could in the first half, which is a positive for the Chargers. But the thing is, moving forward, you're gonna have to be a lot better. But my bad, I'm going off on a different tangent. So obviously they got guys like that. I asked Brandon yesterday, I'm like, hey, you brought in guys like Morgan Fox, and because the thing is, Sebastian was, and I'm just being honest, Sebastian was a premier free agency get. Kyle Van Noy and Morgan Fox are like those guys that you get third, fourth day that'll bring value, but you don't know how much. Well, these guys have brought a lot of value.
100%.
Morgan Fox has, I think, 4 sacks in the last 3 games. Kyle Van Noy has 4 sacks in the last 4 games. And Morgan Fox is up to 6.5 on the season. Kyle's up to 4. Combine 6.5 and 4. Combine that, you have 10.5 sacks between those two guys. So I asked Brandon Staley, right now you guys are getting hot, and is this what you envisioned when you brought those free agents in, that they would get hot at one point, and obviously you'd hope it's in the back end of the season so that they can help you going into the playoffs? And this is what Brandon had to say about that.
All these guys that we've onboarded on those team, free agency, there are 2 of them. They've helped us significantly from their performance, and then adding the type of leadership and that type of toughness, the intangibles that our team needed, to be as good as it can be. I thought Foxy and Kyle played at a high level. I thought Sebastian was fantastic, and same with Bryce. Those are guys that we all brought here, in free agency, and I think they've been fantastic. And Morgan has really given us a lift inside in terms of pass rush, and then just his flexibility as a player. And then Kyle, that's his 4th straight game with a sack, and it's certainly a huge sack fumble. They were kind of driving there, and to be able to take points off the board, he's just playing at a high level, and just thankful for both of those guys.
So obviously, Brandon talks about it right there. Those guys have been they're playing at a very high level. And the thing is that Joey got eased in on Sunday. He had some good plays. There was a couple of plays where I saw him throw his guy right into Baker Mayfield, and Joey just wasn't able to grab him, but somebody else did. Or
in his lap, it was a thing of beauty.
Yeah. So Joey, it's going to take him a little bit to get back into game shape. Hopefully by the first playoff game, he'll be able to get back into game shape. They're going to go to Denver this next week. Maybe Joey plays a couple of snaps, especially with that altitude. That's going to help him probably get more into shape. So that'll be interesting to see. But without Joey there, you really needed guys to step up. And then this win streak, it's been Morgan Fox and it's been Kyle Van Noy. Dan, what have you thought about both of them and what they've brought the team as of late?
They've been killing it as of late. I think we've talked about this before. I think it took Kyle a little bit of time to get started. But once he got started, that dude's been on a mission, especially because he has that Super Bowl pedigree anyway. Won a few in New England. He knows what it looks like and how to do things right. So just coming here, I think he's been great in the pass rush game. He's been getting after it. Now he's setting the edge as an edge defender and everything else. And Morgan Fox also, he's been just killing it also these past few weeks. He's been physical up front, moving the guards, trying to put them into the quarterback's lap and everything else. And, it's just been good. It's been good to finally have a time in a Chargers season where you can say, okay, we can rely on guys who aren't Joey Bosa, aren't Khalil Mack and stuff like that. Because before you would put other guys in there and it was just essentially a massacre. It wasn't very well. It didn't work out well. But, these guys stepped up and they're playing great. So that's perfect for them. Because now that just signals to the coaching staff that it's like, okay, you don't have to play Bosa and Mac 90% of the snaps. You can get them off the field a little bit, kind of give them breathers and get them ready to go in the second half so they'd be ready to go down crunch time.
I completely agree with everything that you just said. Obviously, they're going to need them moving forward, especially like, hey, Joey and Khalil Mack are going to come off the field. You're going to need guys to go in there and try and still make a difference. And Kyle's just playing at a very high level. Morgan is too, and it's just good to see, especially because you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna need them come playoff time. The more pass rush you can get in there, the better it's gonna be. At one point, though, Dan, you might be able to see Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Sebastian Joseph Day, Morgan Fox, Kyle Van Noy, and Derwin James all in the box.
Wild. That'd be wild.
And it's like, okay, pick your poison offensive line. Who are you blocking?
Yeah,
so that's definitely going to be interesting. Dan, let's see what Morgan Fox had to say about the way that the defense played on Sunday and what he thought about their performance.
Guys are really trying to hone in on their roles and their jobs and really trying to become the best at it that they can. So guys are really buying into the whole process, putting their heads down, working, and then, when it comes time to operate, guys are executing, making plays. Oh, it's great. Having a guy like him, first off, he's a warrior just for even fighting back. It's tough for him to, do what he did and then come all the way back and play, and then having him back on the field is, the kind of player he is and the attention he demands. It's definitely exciting to have him back.
Everybody's so excited to have Joey back. It's funny. Yeah. But definitely Morgan's right on that one. Guys are really getting excited. They're making plays. I mean, you even see it in the secondary. Like Michael Davis is making plays.
No.
Sonny Samuel Jr. is making plays. Yeah, they give up a couple of big plays down the field, but those are plays that, heck, I don't even think if you put Baker Mayfield again and tell him, hey, make those exact same throws again, I don't even think he can make them again. So there were some plays where Baker got the better of them, but the Chargers didn't allow the scoring. They were able to hold them back. So definitely big kudos to the Chargers defense for their performance on Sunday.
Exactly. And, it's like we talked about with already clinching the playoffs, their number one goal these next two games at the time, we said, get out of these things healthy. Like try and do the best you can, obviously win the games, keep momentum going, but getting out healthy is the number one goal because you can't go into the playoffs adding people to the injury report or, God forbid, losing anybody. And they did that yesterday. Everyone, walked away that I remember, unless I'm missing somebody. But and that's the biggest thing because now come Denver, are you playing people? Are you sitting them? That's going to be very interesting.
That's where I was gonna go next. So I was asked this morning on a radio show. They're like, "Hey, so what would you do?" And I'm like, "Look, to be honest, I may let Justin Herbert and the offense go in there for one drive." See how much you treat it like a preseason game. Give me one drive, score one touchdown, boom, we're out of there. Why? Denver's gonna come in pissed off. Denver played pissed off against Kansas City, and they almost they took it to Kansas City. You don't want to get in a slugfest against Denver because, and I'm not saying that Denver would beat the Chargers, but you just don't want to get into one of those. You don't want to get into that boxing match with them. You want to avoid it at all times. That's why you wanted to get the seed and you wanted to get everything before you came into the playoffs you wanted to clinch the playoffs before you came to play the Broncos. Why? You don't want to get in a slugfest with them. You don't want to do any of that. Why? Because it hasn't been a good time for you the last few times you've gone in Denver. 2, you have to focus on the playoffs. You can't be focused on beating whatever Denver team that is obviously they're not dangerous. So
God.
So
But you don't
obviously
care about the 5th seed. You don't care about the 5th seed.
I mean, okay, let me ask you, do you care about who you play?
No, I don't give a rat's ass. I've already said that before. In my mind, this is the thing I can't stand, right? And you've heard me talk about it a lot in soccer when it comes to the Champions League. I don't care. I don't want to get easy teams in the first round and then go and play hard teams later, because I always find it that when you do that, you get beat by those hard teams because you didn't have that same level of competition. You know what I mean? I want the hardest road possible to the Super Bowl, because if you make it to the Super Bowl for now, iron sharpens iron, all that pressure, you're going to make a pearl or whatever, or a diamond. And that's what happens. You end up finding out that, you're not going to lose because you've already faced the top competition. And it's like, if they get the bottom half or whatever, and they beat a Kansas City and knock them out in the first round, that's already a huge momentum lift to the next round of the playoffs. And who could it be? I don't know, if Buffalo or whoever. Imagine beating them and going like
your face if that happened. Like,
I'm going to choose violence. Everybody's going to get it. Everybody's going to get it.
That would be hilarious to see. But see, I'm of the mindset like yeah, Joey needs to play. Khalil Mack doesn't need to play.
Yeah, Joey
Kyle
does.
Van doesn't need to play.
No, I'm saving them.
Yeah, hell, even Michael Davis and Sonny Samuel Jr. I may sit both of them. Like, you guys don't need to play.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain guys that I'm choosing. You're not playing. You're good to go. Like,
because in my mind, there's no reason to get into some slugfest and go all out and this and that in a meaningless game, because the only thing you're playing for is a higher seed or a lower seed, depending on, I guess, the Ravens or whatever. But it's like I said, if it was me, I'm not worried about the seeding. I almost welcome it. I welcome the violence and the chaos. Give me a Kansas City. I think Buffalo is going to be hard because of the weather, but I mean, it is what it is. That's what football is. Doesn't matter where you play it.
Say that like Cincinnati beats the Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Bills look weak. The Buffalo then drops to the 3rd or 2nd seed, and I bet you'd be like, okay, I want them now. Like,
they haven't looked good. The Chiefs haven't looked good these past few weeks, and it's like, I'm not worried about anybody. You know what I mean? You still got to show up and play. It doesn't matter what your record was during the year. And what always gives me hope, and I hate to say this because I'm not a fan of his at all, is that I think the Giants were 9-7 or 8-8, and they went all the way and won the Super Bowl as like the last seed in the NFC. And it's like, that stuff can happen. It's all about just getting hot at the right time and having the right mindset throughout the playoffs.
Well, yeah, no, you're completely right. Dan, before we head out of here, Kyle Van Noy had a pretty interesting message last week when the Chargers beat the Indianapolis Colts. He sent out this tweet saying, oh, where's it? Right there.
Let's see it.
Haven't said much to the media, and I quote, haven't said much to the media this year, staying low key, but I think y'all need to give some props to Staley. Obviously, we just only made the playoffs. I get that. Still got a long ways to go, but y'all was hate, and he kept us together in injuries and all stayed the course. So he was asked about those comments yesterday after the game, and this is what Kyle Van Noy had to say to the media after the game about what happened.
Because I think I'm not blind to what the media is and what everybody wants, and you saw a lot of the people hating on them, and when I'm a type of person where like it's all good when things go bad, right? You can point out the negatives, but you also need to give credit when credit's due, right? And I felt like he deserved credit. I mean, when you lead a team that's injured as bad as we were at one point, and we weren't clicking on defense like everybody wanted. I mean, I think everybody's new except a couple guys, and then you got a lot of first-year starters playing. So it takes time. Like I said at the beginning of the season, and just working out for us.
So clearly, Kyle Van Noy there was defending his head coach. He says that obviously he felt like Brandon deserved credit for keeping them together. I've said it too. Brandon deserves that. I mean, with all the crap that's happened the last 2 years, Brandon has really kept this together, and he's kept the team motivated, and he's kept them together. I know people are going to be like, well, they should be motivated anyway. Yeah, okay, yeah, they should be. But that is a big reason is because of Brandon, because of the free agents that he brought in. Remember, Khalil Mack and these guys are going out to dinner. They're doing things together. Then you turn around, you see, and Kyle Van Noy's holding players-only defensive meetings, and they're going over the film, and they're studying it themselves, and they're doing things like that. These are the kind of guys that Brandon brought in. Why? Because he knew that they would impact the team. So he deserves credit for that as well. I mean, Brandon does deserve a lot of credit for what's going on right now and for why this team has stayed together. They're going in hot into the playoffs. So definitely kudos to Brandon Staley for what he's done and holding these guys and keeping the team together, ready to go into January.
You always hear about talk about the temperature in the locker room. I don't think there's a bigger indicator than this of what the temperature in the locker room is, because Kyle Van Noy is a Super Bowl winning linebacker, dude. Yeah. I don't know if he's won 2 or 3 or how many it was, but he's been in essentially a historic franchise winning Super Bowls. So he knows what right looks like. And it would have been very easy for him to just kind of be like, whatever's about everything, because he's already been there, done it, and everything else. But he came out and defended his head coach when
a lot of the media and a lot of people were, hey, Sean Payton is
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a huge indicator, because this guy he's been in a championship winning program, and it's like now to come over here, and it would have been very easy for him to say nothing, right? That's what would have been program. You're right, program. He's been in a championship winning program, and he came over, and it would have been very easy for him to say nothing because he's already been there, done it, and everything else. But him defending his head coach like that tells you what the temperature in the locker room is. That tells you that these guys are bought in. They're sold on what Staley's selling, and Kyle's just trying to add to the trophy case at home because he understands what it takes to win because he's been there. So I think this is the best indicator you're going to get from that locker room.
Yeah, no, and I think he said on the Pat McAfee show that there are, either Pat said it or he said that there's a lot of similarities to that Giants and Packers team that made it into the playoffs at the end, and they made a run from the 6th seed, and they made it all the way to the Super Bowl. So you just never know. I mean, it'll be interesting moving forward, but good stuff, obviously, from the Charge. Good stuff from Dan and Dago. We appreciate you guys so much for checking out this episode of What's Up, Bolts. Chargers beat the Rams 31-10. They're on a 4-game win streak. They're now 10-6. They control their own destiny. Obviously, they've made the play. They've clinched a playoff spot. Now it's whether they're going to be the 5th seed, the 6th seed. We don't know yet. But definitely some good stuff coming up. Guys, don't forget to check out COMPAS FC. We break down all things from EPL weekend 1 after holiday and after the World Cup. Some good stuff happened there. Is Marcus Rashford starting to heat up, or is it one of those things where he's just playing weekend teams? Erling Haaland looks like he's taken over right where he left off. 2 goals since he had 2 goals in their first match. Go check that out. Guys, don't forget to check out Regular Compas on the Beat. This week we will have some very good stuff for you guys. Are the 49ers after their comeback against the Raiders, are they showing that they really are the real deal of the NFC? The Eagles and the Cowboys, who's going to win the division? And then obviously who's going to get all those seeds that were missing? Find out on Compas. We'll have our predictions on there for you guys. And don't forget to check out House of Horns with Vic, the producer, and Gilbert. They have some good stuff over there. And then in Combat Compas, it will be reviving like The Undertaker pretty soon. We will be doing some stuff with that. So we're definitely excited about all that. But thank you guys so much. Don't forget to check out that we've teamed up with Homage. Go check out all things Homage. You guys won't regret it. Look at Dan. He has all the swag on his shirt, and people were complimenting him on it. So definitely go get that. But we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. We appreciate you guys so much. He's Dan and Dago. I'm Fernando Ramirez. Thank you guys. Be a compa, tell a compa about what your compas are doing. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much.